Hi, I'm Marcellus Green, and this is Music Talk 101, number 17. Oh, yeah, haven't done this in a while. Um, Today's topic is going to be on working with other musicians. And one of the reasons why I brought this topic up or bringing it up is because two of my friends called me today. And they were both kind of uptight, upset because one was working with another musician, and he's a real good guitar player. I won't name any names. And the other one, he was talking about working with other musicians in the sense that it's hard to find good musicians that are dedicated and who are committed. And I just started laughing at both of them because I do understand. And one of the things I told both of them is that, man, that's why I learned how to do all the parts myself. And if I can't do the part, it just won't get done. Because I'm so tired. You've heard me talk in the past about um, waiting for people and musicians to do a part for you or do something that um, when they say they want to be a part of a project, and then it seems like you have to pull their teeth or beg or whatever to get them to come on, and that's when they ask to be a part of it. So, and both of them said to me, "Now I know what you were talking about, Marcellus." I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "I didn't say that because I didn't want to work with anybody. It's just hard because first of all, to be good at any craft, and we're not just talking about music. I mean, even if you want to be a cook, mechanic, carpenter, you have to put time in that craft, time, dedication. You have to compromise. You have to be willing to work long hours. You have to be willing, even when you don't want to do it, you have to do it. And to find a set of musicians that have that same drive and commitment, it's hard to do. I mean, if you need three or four, you might get lucky and get two out of the four. You might get lucky and get three, but something always, not all the time, but most of the time. And this is just my opinion. My opinion. I'm not trying to step on no toes, but it seems like it's hard to get everybody to come together and work as one. And it's hard to get everybody to see your vision. Now, if it's a band that a few people put together, then it's not just one person's band, but I'm an independent recording artist. I'm Marcellus Green. And I don't do other people's music. I do my music. And with that being said, I know how I want my music done. Problem is, there's only one or two people that I that can feel what I feel on the inside as far as playing goes, and unfortunately, those two people, they're doing their own thing. They're making it. Okay, so I know that in order to work with someone else, I have to be given to and being, but a lot of times I'm not willing to do that right now. And the reason being is that it's not because I'm hard to work with or selfish. I've tried that so many times. I'm tired of having to sit and wait for someone to come. 30 minutes goes by, hour goes by, 2 hours, no call or nothing. Then a few days later you get a call. Oh man, yeah, I had to do something at home. My wife or my girl or my job. Oh man, that shows me and tells me right there that the commitment for the craft of doing music is not a part of them. Because I eat music, I sleep music. I'm not going to use the other word that I do with music. I love music. Two things I love. If you know me, you know this already. I love music. I love computers. And I put all my time into both of those. But if you don't have that commitment with other people, I suggest you learn how to do parts yourself. And if you play keyboards, if you got a nice synthesizer or two or three or four, you could play other parts, but you have to get into your mindset. For example, if you're doing a fretless bass part, or if you're doing a slap bass, you have to think like Marcus Miller, think like a Victor Wooten, think like Stanley, think like a bass player. And that's how you play it on your keyboard. Just pull up a bass program and you play it. All right? It's like with horns, when you're doing horn parts. Well, first of all, we know horns don't bend. I see horn players, they're playing horns like ba 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 da ba ba. Okay, that's fine. You found a trumpet or whatever, and then you layer that, do that track, then you layer with a saxophone and a trombone. But horns don't bend. I see people play horn parts and they go ba 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 ba, ba. They bend the note. Horns don't bend, so you're not thinking like a horn player. And that's what I'm talking about. You can even do guitar parts on the keyboard. You just have to learn how to stroke the keys like you have it on acoustic guitar. Well, when you're strumming, I think it was the what note string is on top. That's, you start there, and you start there with the keyboard. You strum it. You strum it. It takes years of practice. When you're doing a little rhythm, you learn how to hit the keys like you would hit strings on a guitar, and that's not easy to do. It takes years of practice, just like doing organ parts. A normal piano player, and you can talk to piano players. You can quote me on this. But normally a keyboard player that plays piano, they can't play the organ. It's a whole different beast. So you have to learn how to think like an organ player, and you might not even be able to do it. Now, I was asked earlier too. One of the beefs was when people get with other musicians, it seems like it turns into a jam session. Yeah, it normally does. Normally does. Because you got divas in the band. You know, it may not be a female, but males can be divas too. And it seems like everybody wants to be heard. That's what I call a jam session. They just want to start playing louder than the other because they want to be heard. Versus if you're a studio musician, you kind of have more discipline when you're a studio musician. There's more of a respect for music because you have to be able to lay parts and tracks. You normally don't lay tracks all at one time, especially if you're doing it by yourself. So there's a little discipline, and no matter whether you're using Pro Tools, Cakewalk, Logic, there's still a discipline involved when you're doing tracks, when you're writing your own music. And me personally, I do original music. I'm not trying to do anybody else's music, even though every now and then I may do somebody's song, and I make sure I write their name, put them in the front like such and such was written, composed by such and such. But my favorite artist is Prince, and sometimes I wonder how does or how did Prince, and how did George Clinton, I don't know how they did it working with all those musicians. This is my favorite musician of all time. You all know that. Prince and then George Duke. You already know that if you know me. And this, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how Marcus Miller does it. How they can get with so many musicians like George Clinton. Because Prince even said something about him about George. He said it amazed him that George can have 100 mother suckers on the stage at one time, and they're all in unison. And how did, that's amazing. Me, I've never had that luck. I mean, I could get with one or two musicians and it seems like we can do that sometimes, but we're gonna go back to the topic, working with other musicians. If you can do it, do it. But my thing is I really love to try to do things by myself, and I don't like that headache a lot of the time. So again, my name is Marcellus. This is Music Talk 101, number 17. I hope you enjoyed this talk. And all I can say now is peace.